there guys, welcome back to Crossfed Garage. So today we're going to talk about this right here. This just showed up in the mail an hour ago. I bought this off Amazon. It's a bestarc. And if you're like me, you know, you work hard for your money, you know, so hard for it, honey. So they better treat you right, you know what I'm saying? So I did a lot of research on what was going to suit my needs. This may not suit your needs. I think this will suit my needs just fine if it works. We're going to test it out. We're going to go through it. I'm going to go over some of the functions, and I'm going to go over the price point with you. So stick around. We'll be right back. Bestarc here, as you can see, it's a small plasma cutter. It'll run on 110 or 220. It does come with this adapter to run the 220 or 110. There, I had it upside down. Let's go over what else it comes with. So outside of this, you're going to get some cheap hose that I guess you can use if you want to. I'm not going to use it, but anyway, because I don't understand why you need it, because it comes with a quick connect fitting right here on the back. Now also it comes with a water separator right here, so that's built into it as well, so that's pretty awesome. However, I do run a water separator at my air compressor already, but I would suggest that anyway. I would not just rely on this one. You should be running an air separator or water separator anyway. You know, it's going to prolong the life of your tools, and I'll show you what I got set up, because it doesn't have to be fancy, and mine is not. Everything that I do on this channel is very budget minded, and you might be sitting there going, yeah, it's really budget minded, the guy just bought a plasma cutter. Well, I don't have $1,000 to spend on a plasma cutter. This came nowhere near that price point. Anyway, let's walk over to my air compressor and I'll show you what I got set up over there. So here's our old friend the Willys, and this thing, it kicked my butt today. I mean, it kicked the ever living snot out of me, and I have got the dinosaur band-aid to prove it. So, hey, thanks Gabe for the dinosaur band-aid. I appreciate that. Anyway, this is all I have for an air compressor setup. It's a Harbor Freight 2 horsepower 17 gallon. I do have it tied into this little Cobalt air separator. It's got interchangeable filters on it. You can pick them up. I think this is about around $20 over at Lowe's, so you can pick one up, and you know, it's going to prolong the life of your tools. So just, you know, do it, because if you're like me, you can't afford to be replacing all your tools. So then I do have my hose. Notice that it is just zip tied onto the handle, because well, that's kind of how I roll. But my hose is long enough to pretty much get to any place in the garage that I need. So that was one thing that I wanted to, I don't even know what brand that is. It's a Diablo. It's Diablo. So I don't know if that's any good. So that's my air compressor setup. It's nothing fancy. I mean, that's what are we looking at? A Harbor Freight 17 gallon 2 horsepower air compressor. Let's say with the air separator, the whole 9 yards, the hose, let's say I got $250 in it, and that's probably probably shooting high, because you can tell the condition of it. It's not new, but it still works because I maintain it. You know, I drain it. You got to do proper maintenance on your stuff, guys. Anyway, so back to the back, back to the old bestarc here. Let's kind of zip through the operation manual real quick. Now, this was an Amazon purchase, and I read the reviews, and everybody had the same complaint that there is zero customer service when it comes to this. Well, of course not. I mean, at this price point, for a little Chinese machine, what do you expect? You expect them to have, you know, they're not going to have the kind of support that Lincoln Electric would have. It's just not going to happen. My suggestion to you, though, is you have a 30-day return policy with Amazon. Use the heck out of it for 30 days. Test it, play with it, do whatever you got to do. You know, if you're not happy with it, return it. Get your money back. You know, look for something better. You know, I think Eastwood has some that are in the, you know, $500 range. And while we're on price point, this one here was, I want to say, $189 or $199, $179. It was under $200 is what I'm trying to say. And so my mom had sent me a gift card to Amazon to purchase a creeper because she was tired of seeing me, you know, crawl around on the floor on a old moving blanket. And I've been really considering pulling the gun on this, and so I had the gift card, and I was like, well, that's going to knock my initial cost down. So I just went ahead and did it, and so hey, thanks, Mom, for chipping in on my plasma cutter. So let's see what it has to say, if I can even open this. So I'm going to read through this, and then I'm going to cut, edit, and we'll see what's up. Okay, so now I brought you in. So when you turn it on, it automatically detects whether you're running 110 volts or 220 volts. That's great. As I was reading through here, it looks like no matter what size metal you're going to be cutting, at 110 volts, we're going to run about 50 psi, right in that area, between 40 and 50. You know, kind of play with it, see what works best for you. But that's what they're recommending in the book. So let's go ahead and hook this thing up. I'm going to turn it off while I do that because you never know. I don't feel like dying. So I'm gonna. So some of the things that do come with it, like I say, you got that hose that I don't know. I did some with it. It's somewhere around here. You do get a small bag with looks like 5 extra consumables in it, and a little bit of Teflon tape that I'm supposing is if you're going to run that hose they sent you. That's kind of nice of them. I've got all kinds of generic Teflon tape laying around here from, you know, it seems like they throw it in with everything nowadays. Like, hey, here, you know. But anyway, so you hook up your ground right there. Set that off to the side. I'm going to clip it right there. So next we got our nozzle, torch, whatever. We did not get any extra cups, which is kind of, so let's take this apart and take a look at it. So you got your ceramic cup, and luckily all this stuff is cheap enough on through Amazon. You know what? I don't know how that comes off. Let me check the book. Okay, so it would appear that you just turn that. You just twist that and come, you know. Then your electrode sits in there. I'm guessing that's what this little wrench is for the electrode. One of these maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so that one is going to loosen that electrode for you. And there you go. You know, I just realized that the camera was down here. But the electrode is just going to sit right in here. Screws in. You got this little wrench dealy thing to tighten it up with. Then you got your. Is that down here again? You know what? So you got your shielding cover there. It goes on. What's kind of nice about this is it will not automatically kick on. You know, if you set it down, it's not going to. You have to open that, then pull the trigger. So that's kind of a nice safety feature. I'm all about safety, and this is a rat's nest, but you know what? That's fine. Now I was supposed to get a guide cup. I'm gonna go and check the box here in a second after I finish setting this up, but I don't have one here. Maybe I left it in the box. I mean, I've been known to do that, so these are pretty easy to figure out which goes where, because, well, they can only go one way. Okay, got everything secure. I'm gonna check the box to see if that guide cup or that guide's in there. Anyway, so I didn't get the guide. You know, which is fine. I'll write them. I'll see if their customer service is. You know, I'll see how it is, I should say. You know, and I'll report back on that. But if I have to buy one, what are they going to be? $7, $8? You know, nothing big. It's just you know, don't have experience with plasma cutting, so I was looking forward to having that guide to kind of help me, you know, stay in line and off the metal high enough to where I'm not burning up consumables. Yeah, anyway, so we're going to go ahead and test this thing out. I've got a couple pieces here that we're going to try. First thing we're going to try is first thing we're going to do is we're going to hook up the air hose. And we're going to dial in our pressure, which that seems a little high right there, and that's is that turned all the way down? Do I need to loosen this? Alright, so now I got to go back to the book because this thing just isn't turned. Let me see if I let some of the air out. Well, it's not turned on, so it's not going to do that, is it? As soon as I plugged it in, I'm reading about. Okay, so it's at about 30. That doesn't want to turn, so I got to go back to the book, guys. Okay, guys. It says right on here, but it's in all black. It's you can't read, but it says push to lock. So I pull it. Now I can adjust it. So I did notice though, while I was in the book here, I told you wrong before. So when you get into the 40 to 50 psi is going to cut most of your thinner materials um, on 110 volts. Um, and it seems to be the same for 220, you know. Now when you get into your thicker materials, you're going to run 50 to 65. So, you know, obviously those are just parameters. You're going to have to play around with it and find out what works. So I'm going to try, because we're going to start out trying to cut some 1/4 inch. So I'm going to set it up at well, that is all the way in. That's all the way in. It seems to be dropping down to 30 when the air is on. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe that's normal. I don't know. So your amps. So you probably want to run around 20 amps. You're probably going to need a dedicated circuit for this. Luckily, I do have one for my welder. It's 110 volts also. I ran a 20 amp breaker specifically for my welder, which I now have this plugged into to test, so I can kind of, you know, I would imagine if you have other stuff hooked up to that breaker, you're probably going to trip that breaker. It's just a guess, maybe not. But I'm going to run it at 20 amps. Now, your post time, which is kind of like a purge time, is how long, how many seconds, that's in seconds, how many seconds, and I think, so the bottom is 2 seconds, and then you can go up to 15 seconds. And so let's set it at 10 seconds. And what that is after you're done cutting, it will continue to allow air to go through to cool your consumables down. You know, kind of help them last longer, you know, prevent any premature wear on the consumables. So we'll find out how it works. I'm getting ready to throw and yes, I know in the last video I said I don't like to clamp stuff to my table or drill stuff into my table, but I went ahead and I put my vise into the table because it just seemed like things were going to work out easier that way. So sue me for lying. Can't help it. So we got some 1/4 inch here. It's 2 pieces welded together. I'm going to try and go through just one side of that. It's I don't know, 1.5 inches maybe long, but according to the manual, this thing 1/4 inch is really pushing it for 110 volts. So let's find out. See, yeah, that was definitely pushing it. Let's give it another run. Oh, we're just about through that. I think part of it is my technique learning this. So. So there we go. We just cut through a 1/4 inch. You know, it's not terrible. Part of that's my problem, not knowing how to properly use the plasma cutter. It's going to take practice. It's going to take time, just like anything else. But now we're going to move on to what I will be using it for, which is a lot of sheet metal. So I've got this piece of 16 gauge, which is, you know, what a lot of your car panels are made out of. So I'm going to check my air pressure. So we're about 30 right now. I don't think we're going to get much more out of that. I unplugged my air compressor so it wouldn't start running during the filming of this, and we're probably running low on air over there. Okay, so now we're going to try and cut through this piece of 16 gauge, which is what most car panels are made out of, which is what I'll be using it for. Again, I got to practice with this thing. I don't know the proper technique for doing any of this. So let's see what happens. So we're going to set that about 40 psi. Just give it a try from there. Now that blazed right through that. I mean, what it missed was my fault. So I'm going to try and go a little bit slower now. So yeah, I mean, it cut right through that. Let's play around a little more. Let's cut a little circle out. You know, why not? We're here. You know, that would have gone a lot quicker if I'd known what I was doing. But like I say, if I can get that standoff, I think it'll really help me get my technique down. Just try another little circle. And that's pretty much out of there. Again, my fault. Did I destroy the consumable already? I think I did. So as you can see, I need to practice at this, but obviously it works. Um, and I don't know. I can also use these to go skiing. So we're going to be practicing with this a lot. So um, I'm going to try and get that standoff. I think that'll help. Definitely get a respirator because yeah, this is rough, and I don't think it's safe. Breathe in. Yeah, my opinion so far, I like it. It's easy to use. Well, it's easy to set up. Um, Technique-wise, obviously, I got to get that down. I got to figure out. I'm gonna play around with this piece of 16 gauge because that's mostly what I'm gonna be working on with the willies. I'm gonna be using it to cut panels off, stuff like that. So I'm gonna practice with mess with the air pressure, the amp settings, stuff like that. See if I can really narrow it down. If you guys, any of y'all watching this, have much experience with these, with plasma cutters and at 110 volts, cutting 16 to 20 gauge, we'll say, drop it down there in the comments. I definitely will appreciate any helpful insights you may have. So anyway, I'm giving this one a thumbs up because I've got maybe $200 in this thing, and so I'm gonna, like I say, I'm gonna beat the hell out of it for the first 30 days, and if I have problems, I'm shipping it right on back to Amazon. But it is the bestarc BTC 500D. I'll show you that. So, and it's bestarc. It's kind of a cute color too. I mean, I like that. I dig that. Back on the willies as soon as possible. I went around and started removing all the body mounts, have everything ready to start lifting the body off of the frame. It fought me like you would not believe today. So then this showed up and I was like, okay, I'm over that. I'm going to play with this. And so, yeah, and that gets hot. Anyway, thanks for watching. There's a little thing floating around there. I think it's right here. Little cross thread garage symbol. If you touch it, you can subscribe. So if you could subscribe, I'd really appreciate it. Give this video a thumbs up. I'm doing my best to improve content as I go. Anyway, I will talk to y'all later. Have a good one. Bye.